Hello, everyone. Today we will analyze two names that are dominating the latest summoning event in the game, Pet Summon, Calyrex Dark Horse and Kyurem. Choosing between a spiritual assassin and an icy fortress has never been easy, because each Pokemon has its own unique mechanics that can completely turn the tide of battle. But at the same time, they also have fixed limitations that you need to consider carefully before committing all your resources. Starting with Calyrex Dark Horse, this is a Pokemon with an extremely impressive special attack stat of up to 165, making it one of the top magical damage dealers in any lineup. Its greatest strength lies in its extremely annoying disruption potential through its Soul Link and stealth mechanics, allowing it to both protect allies and redirect damage back to the enemy. However, Calyrex's fatal weakness is its only average HP pool and physical defense, which makes it very fragile when facing opponents with strong area of effect attacks or abilities that can bypass stealth. Moreover, Calyrex's power heavily depends on units being defeated on the battlefield to activate its scaling passive. So, if the battle ends too quickly or drags on into a stalemate, it will struggle to fully unleash its potential. In contrast to that fast-paced offensive style, Kyurem plays the role of a bruiser and controller with strong survivability thanks to its snowflake mechanic that prevents sudden burst damage deaths. Kyurem can severely slow down the enemy team by reducing the speed of marked targets by up to 90%, creating ideal conditions for allies to gain action priority. However, Kyurem is not without weaknesses, as its base speed is quite low compared to other legendary Pokemon, often causing it to take hits before it can apply its control effects. In addition, the Ice Corpse entities that Kyurem summons, while capable of blocking attacks, also occupy valuable battlefield slots. And if the enemy has Fairy type or Ice type Pokemon, the damage from Kyurem's support skills will be significantly reduced. Understanding both the strengths and weaknesses of these two Pokemon will help you determine which missing piece your team really needs. Because Calyrex requires a strong protective lineup to truly shine, while Kyurem needs teammates who can finish enemies quickly to fully capitalize on the window when opponents are frozen. Now, let's dive deeper into a detailed analysis of Calyrex Dark Horse, a psychic and ghost type Pokemon that serves as a backline assassin. The first standout point is its massive special attack stat of 165 combined with a speed stat reaching 150, allowing it to frequently act first and overwhelm opponents right from the start of the battle. Calyrex's active skill provides tremendous disruption thanks to the stealth state after attacking, allowing it to temporarily avoid single target attacks from enemies. In particular, the Soul Link mechanic creates a unique damage and healing loop. When a linked ally takes damage, that damage is transferred to the enemy. And conversely, any healing received by the enemy is converted into life for your team. Additionally, the soul draining effect from its ultimate skill can disable the passives of the primary target, making even the most annoying defensive Pokemon become fragile. However, the power of Calyrex Dark Horse also comes with significant limitations that players need to consider carefully. Despite its strong offensive capability, its physical defense stat only reaches 80, making it easy to take down by high physical damage fighting type Pokemon if its stealth is broken or if it is hit by area of effect skills. Calyrex's power scaling is also highly dependent on what happens on the battlefield. It only truly explodes in strength when units are defeated to activate its passive that permanently increases attack and reduces damage taken. This means that if Calyrex is focused down too early or the enemy team has overly strong healing that prevents any unit from being defeated, it will lose its late game scaling advantage. Furthermore, while summoning death puppets from fallen enemies increases unit count, these entities do not inherit passives, so they sometimes serve more as damage sponges rather than creating real breakthroughs. Therefore, to maximize Calyrex's assassin potential, you need a team with strong protection and additional damage sources to quickly create openings by eliminating enemy units. Moving on to Kyurem, we can see a completely different combat style, as this dragon and ice-type Pokemon takes on the role of an extremely resilient controller. Kyurem's biggest highlight lies in its strong survivability thanks to the unique snowflake mechanic, which allows it to protect itself by limiting the damage it takes each turn if that damage exceeds 15% of its maximum HP. In addition, Kyurem possesses terrifying control over the pace of battle through the Pursuit mark, reducing the enemy's speed by up to 90% and almost guaranteeing that they will be frozen once the effect ends. In critical situations, its passive can also summon ice corpses to act as obstacles on the battlefield, helping block damage for the backline while also counterattacking and freezing attackers, creating a versatile defensive layer for the entire team. Most notably, Kyurem's ultimate skill not only deals heavy damage but also transforms the battlefield environment, reducing the defense and speed of the entire enemy team while significantly increasing the freeze chance for Ice-type Pokemon in your lineup. Despite its powerful control and high durability, Kyurem still reveals weaknesses that players need to pay attention to in order to avoid being countered. With a base speed stat of only 95, Kyurem often has to take hits before it can unleash its key control skills, making it heavily reliant on the snowflake mechanic to survive the first turn. Kyurem's offensive capability is also limited by type matchups, as the bonus damage from its Dragon Breath skill is significantly reduced when the target is a Fairy type or Ice type Pokemon. Furthermore, while summoning ice corpses is beneficial defensively, it also unintentionally occupies battlefield slots, sometimes interfering with other summoning strategies from allies. In addition, if the enemy has skills that cleanse debuffs or grant control immunity, Kyurem's value in battle will be reduced by half, as it can no longer maintain pressure through the freeze status. Therefore, Kyurem performs best in lineups that prioritize defensive counterplay and have teammates capable of supporting and accelerating its action speed. When placing these two Pokemon side by side for comparison, we can clearly see the contrast between unpredictable offensive power on one side and solid defensive capability on the other. Calyrex Dark Horse is an excellent choice for players who enjoy an all-out offensive playstyle, aiming to quickly eliminate the enemy backline with massive magical damage and soul-based disruption effects. However, the price for that power is its fragile defenses, which require extremely tight team coordination. Meanwhile, Kyurem presents a difficult challenge for any opponent trying to end the battle quickly, as its wide area freeze control and damage blocking mechanics help maintain stability for the entire team throughout the fight. If you are lacking a position that can shoulder the responsibility of protection and tempo control, Kyurem will certainly not disappoint, even though its burst damage cannot match that of Calyrex. In conclusion, no Pokemon is absolutely perfect in this event. The right choice depends entirely on whether your current lineup needs a sharp sword or a sturdy shield. If you prioritize climbing the ranks with fast, decisive victories, put your trust in Calyrex. If you prefer consistency and want to counter high-speed teams, Kyurem is the ideal missing piece. Hopefully, this detailed analysis of both strengths and weaknesses has given you a more objective perspective to make the most effective resource investment decision in Pet Summon. If you find in-depth review content like this helpful for your journey in conquering the game, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss any future Pokemon analysis videos. Your support is the biggest motivation for me to continue creating higher quality content. Thank you for watching, and see you again in the next videos.